Let's talk Avengers Endgame deleted scenes. Hey guys, before you get started, make sure you click that subscribe button, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Hey guys, Avengers Endgame is finally available on digital download, so I thought we'd dive in and talk about some of the deleted scenes that were left out of the final cut. Now, there's no sign of some key moments we heard about, like Tony Stark meeting an adult Morgan in the Soul World, but there are some deleted scenes, and while one or two of them have been released online, quite a few haven't been seen before. So let's check them out. The first one is a scene at home with Tony Stark. It's clearly meant as a scene to serve as Tony Stark's reintroduction after the 5-year time jump, and more or less just Tony and Pepper spending some quality home time together preparing a meal. The big thing with the scene is she does reference their daughter, Morgan. There's a reason they probably left this out. This would have totally lessened the impact of the big reveal when Tony heads out to the garden and finds his daughter. The second deleted scene is between Steve and Rhodey during a recap of the Infinity Stones, and they dive into some questions about how the Tesseract ended up on the bottom of the ocean after World War II. Rhodey actually asks Cap why he crashed the plane, and Steve explains it was full of bombs, but not quite as quick to answer about why he didn't just jump out into the ice, and the scene ends before we get an answer to that. It's a pretty great moment and one that probably should have made it into the final cut. The next scene involves most of the crew and Rocket. They're all watching some surveillance footage from 2012, which shows Captain America battling the Chitauri aliens. Rocket goes on to ask Earth's mightiest heroes exactly how long they were fighting them. When Black Widow mentions it was at least 2 or 3 hours, the Guardian bursts into laughter and explains he can't understand why it took so long to stop the, and I quote, suckiest army in the galaxy. One of the next scenes is a scene we've seen online, and that's the Thor needs to focus. It's set in the 2013 era Asgard, and the God of Thunder takes a leak much to the disgust of Rocket. If you watch the scene, he tries to talk Thor up, but it doesn't work, especially because Thor is aware they are just a few hours from the Dark Elves invading and his mother dying. It's a great series of shots, but most of this was conveyed in other scenes, so I understand why it was cut. There's also a brief scene with Howard Stark and Tony Stark as they leave the military bunker. Tony talks about how they both want to leave a better world behind, and the pressures of doing so for their children. It's during this part of the conversation that Howard offers his son a job. Now, it's sort of unclear if this will be in S.H.I.E.L.D. or Stark Industries, but it was a cool little scene. Now, one of the other scenes that's been released is the Heroes Take a Knee scene. So this is a scene that we've all seen already. Now, we don't need to go into details. Everybody's seen the scene, and it's a great one. But I do understand why they cut it. It does have a little cheese effect, even though it's really good, and would have just extended the funeral scene, making it not work quite as well. The only thing I really took from the scene that I did like was Doctor Strange's reaction, who was clearly impacted by Tony's death. Now, part of that scene, but was also cut from the movie, was Gamora kind of walking away and not taking the knee. This basically confirms she did survive the third snap and wasn't dusted alongside Thanos and the rest of his army. It's pretty safe to assume that Marvel Studios did this on purpose and really wanted to keep Gamora's fate as ambiguous as possible. That probably is a little clue to add to the bucket for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So what do you guys think? Any of these scenes you wish had stayed in the movie? And will you be picking up the digital release to check them out? There's actually a link in the description below if you're planning on it. If you like this video, make sure you press like below, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.